Today, we're going to really have a look at procrastination, and I'm going to take you through 4 simple strategies to beat procrastination. And I know procrastination is something that all of us deal with in our business. And so this is why I'm really looking forward to going through these steps with you. If you have any questions, even if you're watching this on replay, feel free to leave them in the comments and I will come back and go through and answer any of those questions for you. So let's have a look here. 4 simple strategies to beat procrastination. Now, the first thing I want you to have a think about is, what is your goal? So what is your goal as it pertains to your business? And this is what I want you to keep in mind as we go through this. So we want to write down your goal, or just make sure that you have your goal in your mind. And then we're going to be talking about procrastination as it pertains to achieving your goal. This isn't like when we avoid doing the dishes or we don't want to take the dog for a walk, but you can use the same strategies that I'm going to go through with you today to be able to look at those areas of your life as well. Now, what's a bit interesting is that I'm actually going to start at number 2, because we know the first thing about our goal. We really need to just write down what it is that it's going to take to achieve the goal and put that in our schedule and get on with it. But the problem is that we have it written down. We know what we're supposed to be doing and we're just not doing it. And so that's the bit that we're going to have a look at, and why I'm starting at number 2. Because if you're anything like me, you are a master planner. And so you don't need more skills around how to plan. It's really about how to take action on the things that we have planned. And so this is why I'm going to start with strategy number 2, and then we're going to wrap back around and look at the other ones as well. And so, like we just talked about, you plan the actions you need to take to achieve your goal, but then when it's time to do it, you just literally do not feel like doing it. And this is why I think this guy is a little cutie, because it's like, yes, time to be productive, yay. And then all of a sudden we're like, nah, maybe not. And what we're going to really have a look at is why that happens, why we get really excited about achieving our goal, but then somehow just don't take the action. And the main reason this happens is because at the point where you're sitting down to actually take the action, this is when the reptilian part of your brain takes over. So we have our prefrontal cortex, and this is the really planning, strategizing, forethinking, futuristic part of our brain, where we can do things and make decisions in advance. And so we make all these decisions in advance. So we decide in advance that we're going to write our email, or do a Facebook Live, or put a program out, or do some other work in our business. And so we have planned it in advance. It was such a great idea. It's going to help us achieve our goal. And then what happens is we sit down to do it, and then all of a sudden we don't feel like doing it. This reptilian part of our brain kind of tries to take over. Now, it has a few really important roles in our life, this reptilian part of our brain. And most of it really is to just keep us safe and help us to survive. So if you have a look down the list there, like, it's our instinct, it's avoiding pain, it's like having the most reward for the least amount of effort. So if we look at the things that our brain really, like the 3 things it really wants to help us with, it's avoiding pain, seeking pleasure, and then being as efficient as possible. And this is why when we sit down to do some work in our business, our brain doesn't really want us to do it, because what it's doing is it wants us to avoid any emotion that it perceives as negative. And that's anything. I can give you a list of some emotions like fear and boredom, anxiety. Now, all of these emotions that we all feel when we're building our businesses. And sometimes we may really go through every single one of these emotions on a daily basis. Now, really, it's the discomfort. Any kind of discomfort Our brain really wants to help us try to avoid. And this is what it does. It's like, no, 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 don't send that email. Like, it's not safe out there. No, no, no. Like, we should just sit on the couch instead of doing that. Have you ever noticed whenever you've been doing something that's like hard or challenging, then before you know it, you find yourself in the kitchen or you find yourself on your phone or somewhere else? This is the brain's way of trying to distract us so that we can like get back to normality. And the procrastination really is our brain's protection mechanism. It's that flight or fight part. And this is the flight bit. So this is like, it wants us to be warm and safe and comfortable. And when we're out there starting a business, running a business, it thinks that we're actually not very safe out there at all. And so let's have a look at some examples of what happens. So, because what we're trying to do is we're trying to avoid what we think will happen to us if we take the action. So, if we ask someone out on a date, what potentially could happen to us is that we would experience some rejection. And we don't want to experience the rejection. Therefore, we don't take the action to ask someone out on a date. We've put together this amazing new program. And then we experience some fear in putting it out to the world. We might be thinking, well, who are we to put this out in the world? Who will want to listen to me? And then we experience fear. And because we want to avoid feeling the fear, we don't launch our program. We don't take on learning complicated things. Now, we want to have a raise in our job. And we think if we ask the boss and he says no, then we're going to feel anxiety. Or we even know in the asking that I don't even want to ask because I know the whole time that I'm standing there talking to them, I'm going to be feeling this horrible anxiety. And so what we do is we avoid the anxiety. Our brain tries to keep us safe, and then we don't take the action. And this is what happens. So we avoid taking action at all. And sometimes what we do is we actually just do other activities that don't seem quite as out there. And this is where we kind of get stuck. We get on our phones, we go shopping, we eat, we drink, we sleep, we watch TV, all of those distraction things that we can use. Now, none of those are a problem at all at any point in time if you're not using them as distraction. So it's really great if you want to go out shopping, but not going out shopping in the way of avoiding doing something else that you want to do in your business. Now, what can you do instead of avoiding emotion? And so instead of procrastinating on the activity so we don't have to experience the emotion, you can allow it. So you can start to allow that emotion. So really what that means is just sitting there and being with the emotion. So not resisting it, not reacting to it or avoiding it, but literally just allowing the emotion. So I might be feeling anxiety. And so I can just sit with my anxiety. I'm not going to try and get away from it because then I'm not going to take the action that I want to take. So literally I can sit here, feel the emotion of anxiety and the urge to move or not do what I'm doing, but continue to do the task anyway. And so this is what we mean when we say like feel an emotion or allow an emotion, is that we just know that we're experiencing it without trying to do anything about it. Now, the easiest way to have a look at what's actually going on with your emotions is to ask yourself some questions about it. So you can ask yourself, like, what am I feeling? Where is this emotion in my body? What color is this feeling? And I use the word feeling and emotion interchangeably. Is it hard or soft? If fast or slow? And really, we don't spend very much of our lives looking at our emotions because mostly we're trying to spend our time avoiding them. And so you mightn't know really how it feels in your body or what color it might be, or if it feels like it's moving fast or slow. And so don't worry if you don't know how to answer the question or you're not sure about it initially, because this is really a new practice, something new that you're doing. and start to look at, like, what, when I feel this emotion, what is it that I really feel like I want to do? And how does this feeling make me want to react? Is it to hide? Is it to react? Like when we feel angry, we quite often want to lash out or yell or argue about something. What is it that when we have that emotion, like our natural response is to want to do with it? And then you just let the emotion feel how it feels. Don't judge it. Because this is another thing. Once we start to have a look at our emotions and how things affect our lives, then we can judge ourselves for the thoughts we're having. Oh, we can, if we're feeling shame about something, then we judge ourselves, and then we feel shame about having shame, or we feel annoyed about feeling annoyed about something. And then we have like two layers on there instead of just having that one layer of whatever emotion that it is that you have. Observe it. You can ask yourself the questions that we already went through. And really remember that it's really just your brain trying to protect you and keep you like inside the cave. The next thing I want to do is expand a little bit on one of those questions, like how do your emotions feel inside your body? And usually, if we're feeling like a little embarrassed, we're going to, our face might be a little bit red, we feel a bit flushed, our throat might be a bit tight, we might feel a bit of upset in our stomach, our heart's beating a little bit faster. And so you can have a look at the physical sensations that you're feeling as a result of the emotion. And why I put a little Martian there is because what I want you to think about is you've got this little Martian who comes down from out of space, and he's like, oh, you're not doing that because you feel embarrassed. And then you're like, yeah, like I really don't want to feel embarrassed about this. And so he says, oh, so tell me, like, how does this feel for you? And then you say, like, my heart beats faster, some of the ones that we've got on the slide there, like my throat is a bit tight, all of those things. And the little Martian's like, oh, really? Like, that's what you feel? That's why you've avoided taking this action? That actually, like, the reason we're not asking for the raise is because of anxiety, because we're having like some butterflies in our stomach or our heart is racing a bit faster. So we're not having the life we want, fulfilling on our dreams and taking the actions we want to take because we're scared of the emotion. And all it is these physical sensations in our body. Like we keep these amazing programs that will change people's lives on our computers for years and years and years because we fear launching our program out into the world. And all that we're scared of, and we think it's some big, massive thing, when really the worst thing that can happen to us is an emotion. And when we look at that, those emotions, it's just physical sensations. And for me, when I found this out, it was so completely freeing because I was like, what? Like, I've not been taking action in my life. I've not been creating the life I want. I've not been doing all the things I want because I'm scared of like my heart racing faster or scared of feeling a bit sick in my stomach. And then I was like, oh, like I literally, if I can be with any emotion, then the world is my oyster. I literally can do whatever I want. I can achieve whatever I want because I know that I can handle any emotion. I can handle any physical sensation that my body has as a result of the emotion that I'm feeling. And so now you know that your brain is just trying to stop you from dying, that allowing an emotion is not going to kill you, even though it might feel like it sometimes, and that the worst that can happen is an emotion. And like I said, this is really great news. So now you can allow the emotion and the urge and still take action. So basically, you can sit at your desk, allow the emotion and the urge to get up, the urge to do something else, the urge to get on Facebook, the urge to go into the kitchen. You can like allow the emotion and the urge and still take the action. You don't have to not take the action because you're feeling an emotion. So if I'm feeling fear or anxiety, I can still take the action even though I'm feeling those things. Now let's zip over and have a look at these 4 strategies. So the first one we briefly touched on. But we all know it. We all the master planners. And so you write down exactly what it is that you want to do and to achieve your goal. Then the second one is the thing that we've spent a lot of time on today. So what then we allow it. We distinguish the emotion. We ask ourselves the question and we just get started, right? We just do the work. And that's number 3. So we take the action while allowing the emotion. And then you want to celebrate the wins. Now, one of the things I talk about with my clients is thought rewards, because quite often we spend time being quite negative to ourselves. But we can make sure that when we do something that's really great, we really make sure to reward ourselves with it. Tell ourselves, oh, Stacey, I'm really proud of what you did today. I know that you really didn't feel like it, or you had to sit with anxiety while you took action on that. But you sat there and you got it done and you got it out into the world, and people are going to benefit from it. Like, start to talk to yourself in an encouraging way, like you might talk to somebody else. And then it's just repeat the process over and over again. So write down your goal, how you're going to achieve it, allow the urges, allow the emotion, do the work, and then repeat it. And really the results that you will get in your business will be astounding, even if you just take this on for in like bite-sized pieces and see the impact of it in your life. It's been truly wonderful, and have a great day, and I will see you again.